Welcome to the Journey to Oneness podcast, and my name is Nikita, and I want to introduce you to my spiritual mother. We just wanted to come on for a quick, minute or two and just introduce ourselves and say how we met, and then talk about our topic, which we will be talking about patience with our spouse. So, sis, can you tell them how we met?
Well, very interesting story. We met way back in 1996, and it was during our spiritual journey in a little town called Cedartown, Georgia. We met back then, and everything just clicked from there. And it's been a wonderful journey uphill since then. We have bonded, blended our families together, and it's been just a wonderful experience.
Yes,
so
it has.
We are very happy. Now we are here celebrating holidays together. We are so excited.
Yes, like we used to. We used to do Thanksgiving a lot together. Christmas, everybody bring a dish. And we come in there, enjoy each other, have fun, learn each other's recipes.
Yes.
Think about our sister Misty, how she was saying, Sister Kitty, you need to make a cookbook and put your Kool-Aid in it.
Yes.
I remember that. Yes. But we're not going to do that. I'm not going to make a cookbook. That's too much work.
Right.
Too much work.
Yes. And the good part, even during that time, in 1996, we've had the same husband all the way up to today. And still, we still got him. The only thing has changed is just the growing experience, aging process, which is what we're kind of going to touch on today as far as the changes in marriages when it comes to being together so long.
Right. So I was talking about as far as patience go. With me and Larry being married 31 years, patience. Wow, I had so much patience for him. Ooh wee, boy, that was rough. Early on in our marriage, it was really hard because I didn't really see a marriage that was successful. Besides my uncle and my aunt-in-law, but we wasn't around them a whole lot to actually interact with them as far as like being home, how they would act inside the household. So it was a winging. We had to learn on our own, and it was rough. And so when we came down here and moved down to Georgia, we saw you guys. So y'all helped with our process as well, us having conversations with y'all two together or individually. So it kind of helped us. And it wasn't for y'all, boy, ooh-wee. I probably would be gone already. Y'all had a hand in that. I probably would be gone because I was struggling really hard. As patient, it was so hard to deal with some of the things that he dealt with because once again, when you come into a marriage, you come in, both for us individuals, we come in as selfish. I didn't want to do things he wanted to do. He didn't want to do things I wanted to do. So I had to be patient about, learning how his process is. And it was rough. So what about your process?
Well, same here. Nothing starts off easy because we're two different people that's trying to blend what we believe and how we were raised. We're trying to blend that together, our beliefs. And it's almost like two families trying to blend together. When it comes to each individual, then you're trying to, you're going to live the rest of your lives out together. Then you have to learn how to meet each other halfway and pretty much respect one another for the differences. But where the challenge comes is those differences change within years. I used to always tell people who ask me, like, how, what's the secret? Just learn to be not so hard on one another because that person is going to change.
Right.
The person that my husband met we met in 1982. And I was so shy. I was the quietest one on the bus. I was the best kid because quiet kids are considered the best kids. So him meeting a person that was afraid to even say hi, that was just right down his alley because now I just followed him everywhere and did whatever he asked me to do.
Right.
But when I found my own way, my own path, my own voice, he looked at me one day and said, "Who are you?"
Like, ooh, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Yes. So that can be a challenge because now it's like he's married to a different person.
Right.
And that's what happens in different marriages is that sometimes one person will find a whole different purpose or a whole different path, but that might not be the path that their spouse is ready to accept.
Right. That is true. That is definitely true. And over the years, we all change. So, if we don't change in our marriage, then the marriage is not going to be going anywhere. It's going to be stagnant. And there always should be change in your marriage. Always should be change within yourself. So I understand that because, we used to fight over little stuff like, as far as patience go. How about you turn the tissue the other way? And he'll turn it the opposite way. And then when I get there, could you put the toilet seat down? Then he was like, well, can you just leave it up? So when we get in the bathroom, it's like, oh my goodness, you got to go through this again. And I could just feel myself or hear myself get frustrated. And it's like, but you got to be patient because this is probably what he learned in his household when he was growing up. Unlike that, with my household, it was just all female. So we didn't have to go through that process. So patience is key besides communication. Communication and patience go hand in hand.
Exactly. And my experience, if you don't have the patience, then just walk away, take a break, walk outside, close your doors, lay on the bed all day and say, you go in that room and I'll stay in this room.
Yes.
To keep from arguing and demeaning each other. And things that you will regret that you said, later you'll hate that you said that because you never know, how you could hurt a person. Words do hurt when it comes to you being your husband or your wife.
Yes, it does.
Little things that you think is didn't matter. Oh, I was just playing. They take that stuff serious.
Yes, they do, and vice versa. The wives take it, seriously too when they say it. So that's good advice, though. Just go walk away. Give yourself some time, so that way you won't say stuff that you can't take back. Because that's just like putting toothpaste back in the tube. You can't go back in there. So we can't take those words back at all. You can apologize, but it's still going to leave that scar. Yeah.
Now when walking away doesn't mean jumping in the heat of the moment, jumping in your car and speeding off.
Right.
That's not the answer.
Good point.
It's if you want to drive away, then you let them know. I'm just going to drive up to the corner store, or I'm just going to drive around the block just to get some fresh air. But just to leave and say bye, or just unannounced walk out the door. Right. That just add gas to the fire.
Yes, it does.
And I'm not just saying that because experience. I've did it before. He's did it before. And you come back, you're even angrier. So the best thing to do is just still communicate. Because in the heat of the moment, during my marriage, in the heat of an argument or a moment or a disagreement, we'll still come and say, so what are we going to eat tonight?
Yes.
And that kind of lets the other person know it's really not that serious. We still gonna eat. Nothing will get in front of our chicken.
It's a good point that you brought that up because some people are not there yet. I know it took me years to get there. And even still fighting that sometimes. It's not a lot of, it's a lot easier now. But even back then, it was really hard for me to do that. Because I don't even want to be bothered. Don't even touch me, don't look at me, don't do none of that stuff, So that's a really good point because people do need to hear that. Especially now these days with the people that's grown, the younger ones, they do that kind of stuff. Because if you tell the younger ones now, well, you need to tell me where you're going, they get offensive. They don't be like, why do I need to tell you where I'm going? And they don't understand that it's not the point that we want to know where you're going. We just need to know because if anything happened, we knew you was at last. We know where we need to go, who we need to talk to, and stuff like that. Exactly. They think it's all control, but that's how I felt. I felt like it was a controlling situation. You just want to know where I'm at because you just want to be controlling. That. But that later on, when I realized that wasn't it, I was just being childish. Just being childish. So I like that point that you brought out. That's really good.
There's just so many differences. We know that couples go days, sometimes weeks without speaking, trying to prove what kind of point.
Right.
It doesn't prove any point. It just proves that you can hold a grudge a long time. That's all it proves. So why not just say it's not that serious? And I can tell you right now from experience, the older you get, the more you put things into perspective. I've laid in bed plenty of nights going, when will that day come that one of us is going to be lying here and the other one is going to be lying in their grave?
Right.
You never know how close you are to that time. So I tried my best to say, every time I lay down, lay my head on that pillow, I'm going to appreciate the person that's next to me because I know not if, not when, but if and when. No, just when.
Right.
There's no if to this. One person will be lying in that bed by themselves.
Right.
So you have to appreciate that person now and let this little stuff go that you can't take with you to the grave.
Right.
And it's not going to change anything for the good by holding a grudge.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Because I was that one that was holding a grudge. I mastered that part. I mastered that very well. That was one of the things I had to ask, literally go to God and ask God to help for that. Because it was really hard. It wasn't just for, people on the outside. It was for my husband too. I held a grudge for a long time. And I realized that that's not going to get me anywhere. It's not going to make my marriage better. And then looking at people saying, you got the perfect marriage, this and that. You don't know what I went through. You don't know what I had to go through. You don't know how I'm feeling right now. You don't know if I'm holding a grudge right now. Because at times when people said that, I was holding a grudge. I just try not to show it on my face, on my, or, how I talk, the way I walk, even around my husband, I try not to show it. I just try to just deal with it and try to hurry get past it. But I realized one thing, I cannot get past that grudge if I didn't have the help of God.
Absolutely.
So I thank you for reminding me. Grudges will not get you nowhere. Nowhere.
It affects your all over mental health, your mental status, the way you communicate with other people. Mm-hmm. And that's just something that you have to work on. It's not an overnight success when it comes to trying to heal from things like that.
It sure isn't. Overnight.
It's a day by day step. Mm-hmm. And even then you could look up and say, I feel like I'm not getting anywhere. But then you have to even acknowledge that shows you are getting somewhere.
Yes. Because I was sure saying those words. I don't feel like I'm doing nothing better, right? Fasting and prayer. I did a lot of fasting and prayer too. Yes. So that grudge thing that's big. That's big. People don't think that you can hold a grudge in your marriage with your spouse, but it's not true. You can.
You can.
You definitely can. And oof, boy, I tell you that that's patience right there.
Yeah. And because you're with this one person, it's pretty much all your life.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. All of your adult life. And in my case, all of my teenage years, all of my adult life, and it's not all a bed of roses all the time. Mm-hmm. You're gonna be lying on thorns plenty of times.
Yes.
And that's where the challenge come in. That's where the to death do us part. You have to work through that.
Right.
And nobody can sit up and say, "Oh, we got through it so easy." No, there are times you probably called an attorney and had one on hand, thinking like, what, do it again.
Right. Exactly.
And it's gonna happen. Mm-hmm. And so it's just one of those things, a maturity level of saying to yourself, "Okay, I need to figure this thing out."
Yes.
And I will say, from my personal experience, I had a good father in my life during the deepest time of my marriage. Mm-hmm. I went to him and I said, "Okay, I'm done. Please, I need a word from you to tell me what I need to do." Mm-hmm. He said, and I've never let this leave my heart. I've shared it with my own children. He said, "I can't tell you what to do. I can't tell you to leave and not leave a person, because that's your life and that'll be your decision, not mine. But what I can tell you, in making that decision, put in your mind a scale, a scale that has weights on it. Think of all the good things that you've shared together in your marriage. Put that on a scale. Then think of all the bad things. Put that on the other side of that scale. Right. Which one weighs the most? And that will determine whether you need to stay in that marriage." I did that while he was talking. And the good in my mind, my imaginary scale, the good just flew off. It went up so high. And I said, "Okay, I know I've made my decision. I'm going to stick this out because there's been more good than bad."
Right.
And if I can survive it that far, then I can keep on fighting. And that's how you have to sometimes address situations when you feel like you've hit a wall.
Right. Man, that was good from Pop. I wish Pop was still here, because he used to drop them gems on us and, talk to us, individually or together. So that's really good advice. And for the ones, so should we use that for the ones that's been married, like say a year?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I have shared that with my daughter, who is in her marriage is fairly young. And of course, those first 5 years of marriage, you feel like you're married to your worst enemy sometimes. Yes. And I had to tell her that, share that with her, think of all the good things, How even cause with the first years, not just good things you did together, but then you have to consider your feelings.
Yes.
How did he make you feel? Put that on that scale.
Right.
How did you lay down at night? Did you get a good night's sleep every night? Was he there with you every night? Throw all that on the scale. Now it's because you don't have enough in the marriage to throw on the scale.
Right.
Now you have to throw how he made you feel on the scale.
Right.
How did you feel about yourself in this marriage? Throw that on the scale. You got more different items to throw on that scale that can create a negative weight or a positive weight. That's your determination.
Oh, well, that's good. That's really good. Ooh, you sure you want to do marriage counseling? Because I think that will be good. You'll be a good marriage counselor.
Well, I think that goes that way toward even friends.
Yes, it does.
Because I know, having friends. I'm not one that have had many friends in my life. I can count them on one finger.
Right.
I can count them on. I can actually divide a finger up because I've never had a best friend in my life. Never.
Right.
But I've had. I've had. If I call you sister or child, then that's more than a friend.
Family. Yeah, it's family.
Yes, but as far as friends, my and I have to go revert to my son. Hopefully, he won't see this because I'm telling too much of his business. But he took his friends so serious. So whenever they hurt him, it was like I'm locking myself in a room for a week because he said this about me, or he said he's not going to speak to me, or he just any little thing. Right. But what I had to say, think about it. Are they really your friend?
Right.
Put it on a scale. Did they have your back during this time?
Right.
You always running to their rescue. How many times have they ran to your rescue?
Right.
You have to think of all that different things. You taking them plates? Do they take you plates? You inviting them over to your family? Do they invite you over to their family? I mean, that's what friends do. You kind of help each other out. One hand helps the other. Right. So, but if you got your hand is the only hand that's doing everything, then really, is that a friend or is that just somebody just feeding off of you what they can get out of you? Right.
And whenever that person messed up, with Casey, how many times did Casey forgive him? How many times did Casey had patience with him? And now that she was on the other foot, he don't want to have patience with Casey. That don't make sense. Patience. You have to have patience in a relationship, whether you're married or not. You have to have patience. I like that. All right.
Yes. Well, that's relationships to me. Married relationship, friendships is all ships.
Yes.
It all has a principle. It all has the basic principle of the same thing. If you're going to remain in that ship, relationship, friendship, whatever ship.
And you think about that. I like how you did that analogy because if you think about being in a ship and you have cracks in that ship, the ship gonna sink. Yes. So if your relationship is not strong and you don't patch up those holes that's in that ship, it's gonna sink. Your friendship ain't gonna last no more. Your marriage won't last no more. So if you patch it up, guess what? You will stay afloat. And then y'all will be able to go. You're going to get those waves that go up and down, up and down. You're going to get those motions, but it's how you handle it when you go through the motions. So I can get seasick. When I go on a boat, I get seasick a lot. If I'm in my car and I'm reading, somebody's driving, I'm reading, I get motion sickness. But the thing is, how am I gonna come from under that? Am I going to just like, what? I just ain't gonna do this no more. I don't want to ride no more with y'all. I don't want to get on the boat no more. No, because that's not true. Because I'm gonna get on the boat. I'm gonna stay on my cruises. I'm going to find something that's gonna help me with the seasickness, help me with the motion sickness. If I'm in the car, I'll be like, okay, I ain't gonna read this right now. I'm gonna give myself a few more minutes. I'm gonna get back on it. Because I'm not gonna stop. So you got to keep pushing forward and patch up those holes. Make sure that relationship is there. And if you patch up those holes, eventually you can work towards the patience part of it. Y'all have patience for one another. You will have grace and mercy for one another. In any kind of relationship, it's hard. It's really hard. Patience is not easy. I remember a long time ago when Pop used to tell us, when you ask God for stuff, God gonna test you on that. And that's when I knew right then and there in Georgia that I would never ask for patience again. I never asked for patience. I was like, I'm not asking for that. But then I thought about, if I don't ask for it, how am I going to get past it when it happened? So I just asked God to help me in that process. If something is going on, help me. So give me the strength so that I can have patience for that person. Just like I asked for forgiveness from God. If I don't forgive the person that, that's asking for forgiveness, he's not going to forgive me. So we got to do, likewise. But that patience is hard. It's hard, people. It's hard. It's hard, and I have not mastered that yet. But I'm really close, really close, really close.
Well, sometimes in order to master patience, and I'm not saying that I'm the president of the answering what's the key to patience, but from my personal experience, working in the field that I work in, patience is a virtue, and that comes from the word. Mm-hmm. And in order to exercise your patience, you have to get tested by your patience.
Right.
So being tested, you just get tested until one day you pass the test.
Right.
And I get tested probably 1,000 times a day. And after a while, you just learn to smile at it and keep going.
Right.
In the medical field that I work in, working with elderly, you get called names because you got people, elderly, just their experience. You may get called names, you may get slapped, you can any little thing. And it's not, I don't let stuff like that bother me. You just smile.
Right.
Maybe that's where Kirk Franklin got his song from. Smile. You sound like you get tested all the time too.
Especially about them clothes anyway.
Everything. Yeah, so just smile. I just smile.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to, it's so many. I think that's not just for people, Christian people, but it's for anybody. I mean, even look at Beyonce, you can't break my soul.
Yes.
So that tells you that people deal with things and you just have to really convince yourself, like, I'm not going to let that get to me.
Right.
Regardless, I'm not going to let it get to me. And that's how you have to do with your patience. It's basically saying, I'm not going to let you get to me.
Correct. Mm-hmm.
Whether it's a husband, friend, whatever, sister, brother, mother, I'm not going to let you get to me. I have to protect this right here.
Right.
I have to protect it. So, if you see me talking to myself, then mind your business. I'm trying to get being patient. We talking about patience right now. So mind your business.
Right. Yes. I like that. And if you got to put sticky notes up, put sticky notes up. If you got to put a reminder on your phone, put a reminder on your phone. Patience is a virtue, and it is not hard. Not easy to have it. It's hard. Some people work at it and some people just get it. They just, hey, I'm good with that. That's not me though. Just not me, right? Not right now. I'm taking my strides, and I'm getting there. I'm getting closer and closer, but it's a learning process.
It is. And it's learn how to let go of a lot of things that will test your patience. Learn to let go of what people may say. It doesn't really matter what people say. As long as what you say and what God says, that's what matters.
Right.
And not wearing your feelings on your shoulders all the time. He hurt my feelings. Oh, you didn't really hurt my feelings. You just didn't say what I wanted you to hear.
Right. Oh, that's good. Oh, I like that. That is so good. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's,
I like that.
It's okay.
Yeah. It's okay. I had to tell myself, I am who God says I am. In spite of all the things that's going on, in spite of what people say, I am who God says I am. Because if you allow that negativity to get into you, you're going to feed on that, and then you're going to see yourself the same way those people see you. And you can't, because that's not how God sees you.
Right. So when God say, you are who God say you are, who are you?
Right.
Who does God say? Who does God tell you?
I am beautiful.
Absolutely.
I am beautiful. I am the chosen one.
Thank you.
I am the chosen one. Yes. So I already know I'm peculiar.
Absolutely.
Peculiar people. That's what I am.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. So nobody can call you ugly. Nobody can call me ugly.
That's right.
Yeah, I got big lips. Mm-hmm. One time big lips wasn't in, but now everybody paying to have them.
Oh yeah.
But back in the day when I had them, I heard the Oscar Mayer song so many times because of them hot dog buns.
Yeah.
Because of my leg. I heard that song. They thought but now. No, it used to bother children get picked on, bullied, and all that stuff. But once you get past that, and I start teaching my children at an early age, be happy with your skin, because people gonna call you blackie, people gonna call you. Be happy with your skin. You're beautiful.
Yes.
So I love my big lips, honey, whether they in or not. I love my ears. I love my nose. I even love my fatness. If you don't like it, that's your problem. You can do what you gotta do. But this is me. I'm happy within my body.
Right.
This is what God gave me. Yeah, I might need to stop eating. That's my business again.
Right.
That's my business.
That's right.
Yeah, if I want to eat a bowl of beans and cornbread, but I'm gonna eat it.
That's right. You tell it. And guess what? He had Pop like it. So that's all that matters.
That's why my marriage has never been threatened by my weight. So I'm good.
And you got to be confident with yourself. Because if your spouse, if you trying to change yourself because of your spouse, and he's saying he don't want you to look this way, and then you might need to go back and check that out. Check out yourself for one, because if your spouse is telling you these things and you're not feeling secure about that, then you need to sit down and have a conversation. Because when I want to lose weight, and even when the doctor said you need to lose weight, because nobody would believe that I was 215 pounds. But when I did need to lose weight, I was I'm down to 175 now. But when I would get down to almost 170, he was like, "Why are you losing all that weight? You don't." I said, "But this is what I need to do." He said, and I was like, "I'm looking real skinny." He said, "But you look fine." You got to have that spouse to tell you that you still look good no matter who you are. Whether you big, whether you're little, it don't even matter. But you got to have that spouse that says, "I love you regardless."
Right.
I love you. Because if they're trying to change you, then there's something wrong. You need to have a conversation. Right. So I like that. That's...
Yeah. And just to piggyback, in my early years of marriage, we went through that where, that dress too tight on you, that don't look good. And I would go change 5 and 6 times. Now, if that dress don't look good on you, okay, well, hello, I'll see you later.
That's good.
Right.
Right.
This dress on me, I'm gonna keep because you have to be comfortable comfortable within yourself.
Right. Exactly.
If they don't like it, then that's tough luck. I like it. Whatever you buy something for yourself, if that's what you like, that's what you like.
Right.
And that's part of saying I am comfortable with me. Like you said, I am who God said I am.
That's right.
I don't know who God told you I am, but He already told me so.
Right. Right. But if it's going to turn into an argument, then something going to have to give. You're going to have to come to some type of agreement.
But I'm not taking off my dress.
But yes. Right.
That's what I do.
Right. Right. Your husband just have to deal with that part. Is this okay, babe? What would you like? Because that was a good. I like how you said that, because one day me and my husband went out because I was losing so much weight. My clothes were so big. And he said, "Hey, babe, look like you got wearing a diaper." I'm like, "Well, this is all I got. What you want me to do? There's nothing else I can do. This is all I got." So one day we went out and we went shopping, and he was like, "Oh, well, you can just get this, you can get that, get whatever you want." I was like, "Oh, okay, but we don't really have the money for that." He said, "That's all right." He said, "You because you need the clothes." He said, "I got tired of you, looking like that." I said, "Okay, so now you solving the problem. So you're not just coming with a problem, you're coming with a solution." And the solution was, he purchased more clothes so that way it could fit the way that he would like to see his woman in those clothes. Good. Right. So you come up with a solution, and then you can't come up with a solution. You just wear what you wear. I had to wear what I had to wear until we got that solution. Absolutely. But it is what it is. But this was I was so glad that you participated with me. That's my spiritual mom. We want to say thank you so much for coming on here and talking with us, about this. This is awesome. One day we'll get our pop in here with us, and we will have, a table where it's all 4 of us, and y'all are really going to love that conversation. So, we hope that you guys like it, share it. And if you have any comments, please, drop the comments in whatever the, areas that we have, that you can make a comment on. We would love to hear from you guys. God bless you all, and y'all have a wonderful day. Bye. Hi, everyone. Thank you for listening and watching this episode with my spiritual mother/sister. If you, your family, or someone you know is looking for a reliable, trustworthy, and honest caregiving service, Dorothy is the person to call. The name of the business is called Quality Care Senior Sitting Services. They provide everything from caregiving to companionship, and they are now offering transportation services. If you are in the Dallas, Atlanta, or Sandy Springs area, visit qualitycareseniorSittingServices.com. And when you contact them, let them know that Nikita sent you. Hey, navigators. Just wanted to let you know that you can find us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcasts. We look forward to hearing from you all as we take steps to the journey to oneness together.